ต่อแล้วเนาะ so what I was saying was the name of Bangkok in Thai, which you guys know that is the longest in the world, right? And I couldn't finish it, that's why I asked if my countrymate is here. So, well, welcome everybody to Bangkok, and it's such an honor to have you here from the Mekong region, and also, some of our friends traveled 25 hours from the US. Can I have your hand? Who's those? Thank you. Thank you. One day they get an email and they say, yes, I'm coming. And they fly over. So we have folks from the US, also our friends from Europe, as far as Greece and Romania, as much as I know. So thank you everyone for coming here. And today is a kickoff of our Mekong conference, right? So on digital transformation. So I would love to invite our panelists on this very special panel discussion. The first may I have Mr. Bruno Siwanandan. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Please give him a round of applause. Onto the stage. Next, we also Mr. Pisao Kam from Cambodia. Please. And lastly, we have Dr. Sai Bandit Rasapon from Laos. Okay. Alright, so it's a very informal session. So even though all of us wear suits, and informal, so I wear pink suits today, given that it's Sunday. We love to kick off this panel discussion. But before I get started, right? So as you can see, our panelists, we are from Thailand, from Cambodia, and also Dr. Sai from Laos. But our friend here is very special. I will also let him introduce himself as well. He's also a part of our Mekong region as well. And all these individuals are distinguished panelists. They have a lot of experiences in both the business side and also government and regulation. So I hope this session will be very useful, for everybody and also for ourselves. Just take it as a very informal exchange sessions. And we would love to know of your interests as well, so that we can, exchange and also answer your questions. It will span about an hour, but we'll see how it goes, right? So may I pass on to each of you, and then we'll come back to myself for a little bit of, tell us about yourself. What's the context that you're coming from? What business are you in? What's the current role that you are doing in your country, right? And for how long? And who are you as a person? So, yes. Over to you, Mr. Bruno.
Okay, so hello everybody, very happy to be here. I would like to extend first my gratitude to DCN for organizing all this. So my name is Bruno. I'm based in Vietnam. I'm French initially. I'm an IT engineer. Been growing my company in Vietnam for supporting businesses go through their digital transformation, which I think is pretty relevant to the topic today. One other aspect of my activities that is relevant, I believe, is my involvement in the European Chamber of Commerce as the chairman of the Digital Sector Committee. So I am leading a business community of companies in tech, companies in legal, in regulations, or other industrial players in advocating for their interest to the Vietnamese government and to Brussels, the European government, making sure we have the right setup to do business as efficiently as possible, support the development of Vietnam and of the Asian region.
Over to Dr. Sai.
Good afternoon, everybody. Sawadee. Yes, my name is Sai Bandit, and I would like to thank the organizer, DCN, for organizing and inviting me to this conference, seminars, forum, exchange experience. Just to myself, I'm a graduate in the, how can I say, management of information system. So I have some background from the computer science. I have done many years, working many years with this field in North America. And when I come back to Laos, I changed my mind. I want to do something else. I want to learn more things, more business. So I started few businesses in the garment sector, which is I'm also now the chairman of the association. I just came back from Cambodia yesterday for an ASEAN textile exporter. We have discussed a lot, especially on how to do trade and how to improve the business and so on. Other than that, I'm also been part of an investment board or part of a venture capital. So I did some investment in the SMEs mainly and in different sectors, forestry, IT, and recently, fintech also. So we do have some application in this part. And lately, thanks to my many European friends, African friends, starting to work on AI. So I think it's one of the hot topic, and this is the main topic in here, and we have 3 days to talk about this, then I will change a little bit more about this. But now, yes, everything moving to this part. So thank you for having me.
Thank you, and we move on to Mr. Pisao.
Hello everyone, very good afternoon. Yes, I'm Pisa. Actually, sorry. Okay, thank you very much for having me today. I love to share you on the digital. I'm the president of Modernized Tech Insight, the company which is developing the software for the business, private sector, and also the government. And along the way on running business, also the national consultant with a few ministries, yes, to transform the legacy process, legacy system to the digital that we can transform. Right now, our government put another strategy called the digital transformation. It's a 5 angle of the government strategy to improve the process of the business and also the government as well. Just thank you.
Wonderful. So, all these very distinguished panelists are very experienced, right? You hear from their bios. But look, what we want this session to be is really setting the tone for the next 2 days, right? The conversations during the deep dive session that we're going to have so that we can learn from each of the speakers and also learning from their experience. So before we get into the questions, what are you guys excited about? Why are you here? What are the type of things that you want to learn from us, from the next 2 days with different speakers? Anyone want to share? Why are you here? Well, maybe if we put a little bit of competition between countries, maybe they will want to put their hands up. Anyone here for the AI? There we go, we see a few. Anyone here because they're curious about TikTok and what it would mean for the social commerce in my country? What do these platforms do? Are they bringing in money or are they going to be problems? Yes? Can we have a microphone for him? There we go. Okay, and please give me your country. Where are you from? We're going to keep the score up.
Okay, hello everyone. Hello everyone.
Hi.
Okay, hello. I'm Andes. I'm founder and content creator of Teman Berprogres. So it's all-in-one productivity platform in Indonesia, targeted especially for Gen Z.
Awesome. Yeah.
And why I wanted to go into this place, of course, learn connections and also level up my capacities, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, that's my first conference for the Southeast Asian country anyway, and I really love to hear from the panelists here, and also, of course, to connect with all of you guys. And anyway, in Teman Berprogres is my platform, so I also have a event for international meetings anyways. So if you want to connect with me, please don't shy, that because of I have a name card here.
Awesome.
Okay.
So that's Indonesia. How about Thailand? Where's my country-mate?
Thank you.
Okay, here we go. Please, microphone on that side of the room. What excites you guys to come here? What are the type of things you want to learn? What are the things you want to hear? Does it work? There we go.
Hello everyone. My name is Matt. I'm from Thailand, Bangkok. Okay, so the reason I really want to join this event is that I look at the title of this event. It's called Empowering the Digital Future. I'm also working on like empowering people as well, especially people who are the marginalized in the marginalized communities. So just want to know like how can we further empower them, whether it's on skill building, knowledge, and other types of how digital platforms can enable them to have better life.
Wonderful. I love this topic. Digital inclusion is also very important for our society, especially in the country like Mekong or ASEAN, isn't it? We have so many people from different minority communities. Are they left out from the platform economy? We'll ask for the opinions of our distinguished guests here. How about one more? There we go, a woman in red. Our first female courage leader here.
Hello, good afternoon everyone. I am Ruth Ann Recto, just call me Ruth. I'm from the Philippines, so right now I'm currently working as a senior comms officer for advocacy in Philippine Business for Education. So it's an NGO. The reason why I'm here, actually, I don't know. Just kidding. I actually initially applied for the Gen Z retreat, the other event, but I guess I'm too old to be a Gen Z. Anyways, I still give this event a chance because it says here skill building for the Mekong Delta's digital revolution. But I guess when I reviewed it, it's not just the Mekong Delta who needs skill building as well, the sharing of best practices, but I guess the neighboring countries in the ASEAN region. Because, well, coming from the Philippines, as you know, we're experiencing a learning crisis. And when we say learning crisis, of course we have a lot of things to do in terms of improving our education system. So before we go to the skills building aspect, the employability aspect, how about the learning opportunity aspect that comes with it? So sometimes it doesn't just evolve, or it doesn't just happen that we build these things without being sustainable. So I guess that's what I want to learn also from this event, on how we can capacitate our people, how can we come up with sustainable solutions, and how can we share from our best practices.
Amazing, thank you.
Thank you.
We're definitely going to cover in our panel about sustainability, part of digital transformation as well. Thank you for all the topic. So with that, I think let's get into some sharings from our expert here. Before we get to some of digital inclusion, skill building, employability, the use aspect, and also sustainability, let's first kick off with the state of digital transformation in your market, in the country where you're from. What do you currently see changing? How is it like? Did it really kickstart, or it's just a buzz about AI that people are talking about, but no one really adopting? So we'd be curious to learn from who should go first. Okay, Mr. Pisol, and then we move rightward.
Okay. Yes. Right now, if we talk about Cambodians, the digital transformation is in the process rapidly developing so fast. A lot of business are moving on e-commerce, moving on the social media. So they start have a small business in the room. So right now, everyone can start a business with a small room, and with themselves alone or just a few people, they can run business, make million dollars. Before, if you look at a past few years, when the digital not yet found, the people run business, they have just a small shop around along the road, and just a few people driving across their shop. So right now, the digital transformation brings them the new opportunity that grow the business rapidly. And I can say that in Cambodia right now, a lot of tycoon, they become millionaires because of the e-commerce, because of social media that transform themselves to the digitals. And also the government, at the government side, to make decision to collect all data, like as I'm the consultant to the Ministry of Agriculture, to collect the data of the crop, the whole country, it takes 3 to 6 months to report to the Prime Minister. Yes, so it takes too long. But my company contribute the digital system that develop the system that can allow the officer entry the data of the crop every day. So the Prime Minister or Minister can make decision and see the result of the progress of the farmer anytime, anywhere. So they are very moving so far. And right now the government afraid that the digital transforming is so fast, but the regulation and law not yet ready.
Catch up, yes.
So this is what I'm saying. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. So about Vietnam, it was very interesting to arrive in Vietnam from Europe. My main impression was that people have been kind of leapfrogging the first steps of digital innovation, and everybody would use smartphones. Payments could be done very easily through QR codes. In France, for example, it's not possible to do it this way. And I completely concur that there is a lot of enablement for all those mom and pop shops and all this economy that is semi-formal, I would say, and that is enabled to be on the marketplace like Facebook, TikTok, and the likes. This being said, in Vietnam in particular, I think the regulation is being rolled out, and this is a major aspect. We had the cybersecurity law in 2019, followed by the data privacy regulation, the e-commerce regulation, etc. So I'm not going to go into all the details. But so it's a very heavily skewing factor in the development of the digital transformation in this country, I would say.
Yes, thank you. I think talking about transformation, digital transformation, how many hours you give me? Because in the short one is very difficult to do, but I will try my best. Anyhow, for our country, I can see that we have to see two things. One, in the individual development, digital development individually, why we do need to learn digital, why we need to apply to our life, and how to make living with this one, like Mr. Our colleague has just said. This is personally one. However, the government or the business overall need to have a framework, what you call it, sandbox or regulation to regulate on this. At this moment, as we can see, or we are working on, because so many development, especially from private sector, everybody has a private own technology, private own coding. So it makes up a lot of things that is not open to connect with each other. So many ministries, many companies do not talk to each other. The data don't talk to each other. This is a big handle at the moment. So now we should move to an open world, open sourcing, open coding, open AI, whatever you name it. So in order to do so, at the moment we are promoting to, how do you call it, DPG, DPI, so digital public infrastructure, digital public goods, so that those infrastructure can be benefit to all of the developers together to make sure that our development can be sustainable, inclusion, and progressive, so that not opening and not closing down somebody, so anybody can get on this thing.
Thank you very much. I think, and also for Thailand, I myself is the advisor to the Ministry of Digital Economy and Society here in Thailand. And for us, I share the same mutual points with my colleagues here. Data, we have so much data, right? In the old days, it's on the paper, but it should no longer be on the paper, isn't it? Like, it should be on cloud. We in the age of cloud computing and artificial intelligence, everybody talking about AI. Oftentimes they forget that AI is built upon cloud computing, who actually came first, before we can innovate on top to become artificial intelligence, machine learning, Internet of Things, right? That in manufacturing industry we really need it if you really want to be truly smart manufacturing. But today, Thailand also struggle with data collection, right? And data processing. Same with Vietnam. I think have to mention timeline. Outside this panel, who came first in different regulations, but the path is very similar. Cybersecurity Act, data privacy. Today we're talking about cloud first policy, which is already something on progress. We're talking about AI governance. But first thing first, one shouldn't look across how many regulations we have. We shouldn't be competing to have so many regulations. In fact, we should make our life easier with technology. If technology is not going to make our life easier, why are we using technology? Why are we complicating things? Why are we not happier? But this is important, governance, right? I want to make sure that my daughter is going to have the data in a place that she feels safe. And as a mother, I feel safe. Too young for our folks here to think about family, I think. But for your data, where would it be, right? Would it be safe to be on Instagram or on TikTok or the next future platform that one of you probably create, right? So I think from the first question, we can see that business and regulations go hand in hand. And the first thing first is to make sure that data link with one another so that innovator like yourself in this room can use that data to build the next great things. Just like how Jeff Bezos built Amazon.com, right? By collecting a lot of data on the cloud computing that he built, and that was the back end of Amazon.com. That's why the company has Amazon Web Services to sell the back end, which is cloud computing, right? So moving forward from that first question, which is very great on setting the stage, is, if I would ask each of you, what are the 3 things that would excite you the most about digital transformation? And you can think about the near future, right? Maybe 5 to 10 years from now. How do you envision our Mekong region or ASEAN as a whole to look like, right? And how can we get there? It could be a city where there's no traffic in Bangkok, from myself. And I hear a few laughter, right? Maybe a few colleagues from Jakarta or Manila would think the same as me. You're nodding, shaking your head, not nodding. So, that's my answer. I imagine cities of ASEAN to have no traffic. We don't have to solve so many problems. If you can solve one problem using high technology, I think that's good enough for me. So now over to Mr. Pisal.
Yeah, the thing that made me excited to the AI, digital transformation. Yes, there are 3 things that I'm going to share. The first is cut down the cost. When we are using AI, when we are using the digital system, we can do the analytics within a minute. But before, regarding to the legacy system, legacy process for the business or government process, even a business, it takes 1 month to weigh the final accounting to close the report monthly, right? And then the CEO make decision monthly. But right now, CEO can make decision anytime. Even me, I run many business as well. I just look at my phone. I see the progress of selling, the progress of the inventories, and how myself working. I can know that. So it cut the cost that can make me reduce the cost of using people to analyze the data. Yes. And another thing, the second point is bring me the times. So right now, even today, I prepared the slide just around 1 hour. I asked AI to make it for me. Yes. So it do everything for me, and even me, actually English is my second language. I'm not well speaking, but AI will help me to improve my presentation. So just language is just a way to talking, to communication. It's not knowledge, right? So I bring the key point to the AI, and AI will generate me a lot of things. Amazing. Just time. And another thing is growing. Of course, when we reduce the cost, reduce the time, it will be growing. The investment, it might multiply many times. Before, I made decision 1 month, but right now I make decision anytime. When I look at my phone, I can call, send order to my staff, ask them to do like this to improve the system. So it brings me a lot of benefit and profit on the business. Thank you.
Yes, so I agree with you. So I think for me, having the 3 most important points for the next 5 years, of course, first of all, is to make life easier, make life good, make life happy, and make good revenue for the family. But how to do this? How to do it? I think at the moment, education is moving a lot in the online. Everybody can learn from YouTube, from online courses. You can graduate by them yourself already. So, however, in the ASEAN, in our part, not many people have access on this one as well. So, first is the government has to make it happen, to give support, to give the necessary so that education is reached to everybody for their learning as well. When they have some knowledge, they can do good job for the countries, for the family, and of course to growing themselves. However, lately we have heard a lot of smart city, which is so new Bangkok. Forget about the old Bangkok, which is still good. This is new, beautiful, but traffic. So we make a new Bangkok with the smart one, so that everything is efficient. Everything, of course, by using all this technology. This is a dream, but it is realizable. I think like Indonesia has moved to the new capital outside, and this capital will be the smart one, as I suppose. So this is the way to do as well. But of course, investment is a lot of money. We need a lot of money in order to make it happen. Other thing that I would like to see is that our planet at the moment should be more greener. So we should focus on the green, make people eat healthy food, make people eat green, organic, and so on. And with these things, we can grow up. And of course, peace all around the world. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Bruno.
Thank you. So I can only fully agree with what you said. I will obviously have to step down a little bit because these are very, very broad. Very broad. So for me, what I'm going to be a bit personal. What I'm the most excited about as an engineer is to play around with all this technology. I think Mr. Andreas, if I got your name right, you're building a platform. I'm myself playing a lot with AI and building a lot of systems and even investing in companies. it's amazing the world of possibilities that this new technology has enabled, very suddenly. Then we can prototype and bring to market services at a fraction of the cost it would have been, say, 5 years ago. And the value we can create as entrepreneurs on this new basis is tremendous. I think all the entrepreneurs are kind of wrestling with how to do it in the most efficient way, etc., but there is a lot of movement. And the way I see it is in comparison to the first and second industrial revolution, and I think it's a similar revolution we're living right now. And when we look at the impact on the society of these two first revolutions, the lowering of the cost of production of goods and services really improved the standards of living, at least in Western Europe at that time. And I sure hope we can harness that to develop the Asian region.
Exactly. Thank you very much. And I think with that point that you made, it's a really good linkage to, you connect the dots between talent, opportunities, and also funding, right? I think funding and opportunity is what make all these young startups possible. We, in Thailand, if you have not already, when you come here, you need to take a tuk-tuk, right? And when, 15 years ago, when I came back to live here in Bangkok from the US, in the US we have Uber, right? So we came here, and what's this Uber of Southeast Asia? And at that time it was Grab, right? And one of the assignment when I was working at Grab is to go to Manila and make sure that Grab can open an office in Manila, right? And then next city, Jakarta, Bangkok, and it's only take 10 years to see what type of this ride-hailing application has become. They become very big, and it's really helped mobilize the life of ASEAN's citizens, right? And that is just one example. We have a local tuk-tuk that you can get on application, which was built on one of the big US hyperscale cloud computing platform, got the local funding from private sector and the government, and they run on entirely EV, and that is something that we, as a citizen of Bangkok, is very proud of. Is a pilot project like that by a group of students in Thailand can make something like that happen. So it just takes a lot of stakeholders, but great load of inspiration and energy from young developer to put themselves together and look for VC to fund the dream to come true. And that is what the exciting things. Now we move on to the things that you most worry about. 3 things. So the future looks bright. We have to work hard towards it, and you can't really work alone. But what are the things that worries each of you when you think about, your market, your country, or the region of Mekong?
Okay, thank you again. Just regarding to the digital transformation, there are many highly risky to the humans. You are using the technology, the phone, computer, access to the internet. Your data will store on the cloud. So, do you know your data has been protected? No, right? Yes. So, AI can clone your voice, can clone your face, can clone your accent. So, even I heard a news from Prime Minister in Thailand. Yes, someone cloned her voice, called the scam, someone asked the money, something like that. So,
And she did not transfer, just to make sure everybody got it right.
So
Almost.
the data privacy is very risky. Right now, I think Google Play Store, Apple Store also have a lot of data privacy policy, and Asian country also need to be developed very soon and release the laws because it's very risky to the human. AI can clone everything. Your errors, your secret, your health. You know, your enemy can know everything about you. So you are very risky. That even business, even personal issue, yes, things like that. So how can you protect? You know, even Internet of Things, EV car, train, they are running without human, right? So the AI will drive themselves. You know, when you access your room, you use the key, right? It is very easy to close the car to access your room, right? Your password on Facebook, on TikTok, it has been stored in the cloud. So who protects it? So this one thing, you must use some tool that can encrypt your errors. Even it's shared to the public, no one can read your errors. It's the first thing. I will share and tomorrow my section will share on that in detail. And second thing is about AI can destroy even your EV car. Someone can hack to stop, to drive, to turn left and turn right. It's risky. Is there no encryption? They just use the key. Key just store the number, encryption inside. So we use the technology that a small sensor inside the key, so everyone can access. It is risky. And yeah, I think I will share to let Doctor will share more on that.
Yes, so I agree with you, first of all. So for me, I think, yes, there are many challenges by introducing and having new technology. First of all, as you may know already, many factories, even hotel has robot to replace how they work, the robot at home to clean your things and so on. However, even in the factories as well, so we must know that by bringing technology, by bringing those machineries, it will use less human. However, we don't need to have too much robot as well. Yes, we should have for hard work, very dangerous work. But if human work is still there, I think we should make use of this part. So what I'm afraid is that human will rely too much on robotics and not be human by themselves. So we have to be human and control this part of thing. This is one thing. And second thing is regards to so many people moving to cities, to the town, having good life. But who is going to work at your farm? Who will raise your chicken, the pork? Somebody has to do it, but of course has to do it smartly. So we should do smart farming, smart agriculture in order to have good food, green food and so on. This is very important. The government or whatever need to have a good planning so that people work on the field for sustainability, for basic needs. This is very important as well. Many people don't want to work under the sun, working in the garden, but it is a must. We have to do that, and we should give them more incentive, more support, so that they can produce good one to us. And third one is regarding to the energy. As you know, today we see a lot of climate change. Many things changes, and we cannot, how can I say, fight the nature. Mother Nature is so strong. So how do we do to protect our planet so that our energy, our life be good? This year I heard that about 5 to 8 big storms, big hurricanes coming into this region, and those natural disasters can harm a lot of people, harm a lot of cities, and destroy many things. So how we need to be ready and prepared for this kind of things. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's spooky, to say the least. To hear you, of course, I agree, and then it's true, and I will jump back on my parallel with the other industrial revolutions. Are we capable, I would say, as societies, to include the entire population and not just the elite, the wealthy, people with knowledge, because those people are going to be okay. But are we, and we did, Matt, I think, mention the inclusion, which is a key point. So this is something very concerning, I believe. It's a kind of polarization of society with people being left behind. It's the first thing. The second thing is digital technology is ubiquitous. It's everywhere. And actually it went so fast, we failed to regulate it. This is where the GDPR comes from. They say, wow, the data is everywhere, privacy is not respected, we gotta enforce it. And Europe came with the GDPR, serves as a benchmark.
And we copy it.
Yes, and I think
it's looking, can say this publicly, it's look like a few countries in ASEAN are copying that. Yeah.
Absolutely, I've been promoting the GDPR since I am here, since 6 years I'm here. Tomorrow I'm going to actually question it as well with you. This is something I really want, I'm really looking forward to. So this is the second point. How do we cope with that massive exposure, our data everywhere, cybersecurity risk? We do not know how to deal with that at the moment. So how do we do that? And the third point is, that there is kind of a standard that is being set by AI now with ChatGPT, and we see it in the article, we see it on LinkedIn, on Facebook, in the emails. Now I'm talking with Vietnamese people, they all have flawless, pushy English, which was it's good, okay, but then I'm afraid people will lose the sense of putting a bit of yourself in what you do, putting a bit of yourself in your writing, and slowly becoming irrelevant. You asked for a negative perspective, so here you have it.
Sounds to me like it's the answer are longer than the first question, than the most exciting thing. But I do share the same concern with you. What makes us human is our natural born uniqueness of each of us, and that's something that AI cannot copy and should not. And so how can we make sure that each of you that stand out differently, you keep that your uniqueness in you and let it shine. And I think if we just put everything onto a computer and just try to model it, they're not going to be able to model how cool you are as a person. They can't. And I'm not an engineer. So I think our point here is it's got to find the right balance, right? Why the buzz of how amazing AI, how cool the presentation can be. I also just used AI this morning to prepare a few slides for the next 2 days as well. But when I was a photographer and I'm a Nikon fan, I really loved using Photoshop 5 or 6 years ago before Canvas came along. And that hobby doesn't exist anymore. And I feel a little sad why my life can use graphic design faster and cooler, and I can upload on Instagram faster. But I feel like I lose that sense of leisure in life. So, just something, but I think we do share a lot of great concern on the negative side of technology. Now, everybody's talked a lot about regulations, so couldn't skip this question, which is, dive in a little bit on the role of government and the role of business. Our distinguished guests here have great experience on both sides, so these two questions are for each of you then. What would be the role of the government and the business in enabling the world we are trying to build right? That's on the role of the government. Now the role of the business is, what would be the role of business in driving a responsible digital transformation, right, for the society as a whole? So who should go first? There we go. Yeah, Bruno.
Role of government, role of businesses. Say, I think the government, the way I see it, is established and enabled and sustained by the people. Whatever the form of government, if it's displeasing the people, at some point it's not going to work, right? So we can take the French monarchy.
But who knows? What type of politics landscape are we getting in right now, today? You know, anything can change.
Absolutely, but so the role of government is to enable this framework in
Right.
which businesses can thrive.
Mm-hmm.
And the role of business people is to thrive in it. But now there is a bit of tension where if you thrive too much, or are you still serving the people? And in the US you have antitrust
Yeah.
regulation, if I'm not mistaken. In the 19th century you had a bit of an extreme with the robber barons, I think they were called, the Rockefeller, which were owning so much of the society. It was senseless because the people were suffering from them.
Yeah.
And so I made a course in Hong Kong, and they came up with this metaphor, which is actually about electrical. Because if you do not have a resistance in an electrical system, it oscillates out of control and it breaks, which you do not want. This is when you have, electric pole catching fire, for example. So you need resistance to balance the business thriving a bit too much in the interest of the whole system.
Yep.
So this is how I would answer your question.
Beautiful. I love that. Yes, Dr. Sai.
Yes, I agree with you. So I think for me, the government, as you said, set the guideline, but however, the government is quite slow. The business is too quick, too fast, develop wow, and the government try to stop because they don't have any regulation, any laws to control. So anyhow, whatever, it should have a dialogue between the two.
Yes.
A good dialogue that the business can do, but as a pilot or us on the sandbox or us on demonstration, so that this kind of technology, this kind of things, because technology come to disturb, technology come to disrupt. So that's why the government don't understand or do not see how the regulation will control this one yet. So, however, the government also need to open the door to listen to the business and make policy upon the request from the business, not as they sit on the desk and then write anything upon what they want to.
Right.
So that's my experience with this kind of things. The government cannot work alone, business also cannot work alone. So we have to work together, but for the best of the things that we want to do. And how to do this? Of course, the business also sometimes is too, can I say, for the benefit. So that's why they need to leverage the investment to gain profit as much as possible. As we can see, the unicorn companies coming to disturb the things, even though no regulation, there's already bigger there. So how they can do it? Because they have a good idea that implementing it. But the government, please do not try to stop them, but encourage them to follow the law that is existing. We can see from Alibaba, we can see from many others things already. Whatever what I say is that we have to sit together and work together so that we understand each of the things. The best is to make money for the country. That money from the taxes and so on to build the country.
Exactly. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Actually, I would say from Cambodian perspective, government has established a lot of working group with the business side, there is an organization we call Cambodia of Chambers. So there are a lot of business owners led by tycoon in Cambodia. So we bring the input from the business side. We regularly meeting quarterly to get input from the business. So for now in Cambodia, we develop the regulation, the law more faster. Yeah, because government, our prime minister said that always remind the officer that government is the great partner with business owner. So that they are partners, not about boss and subordinate or staff. So the organization position equal like the officer or minister. Yeah, that they can sit together and find out the issue and develop the law for for the digital transformation and other laws. So I think with that process will have to develop a very accuracy law and regulation to have business growth.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. I think I think we quite align here. A little bit of resistance is definitely needed. I think for every system, whether that's engineering or not, you also need a counter argument, right? You need someone to tell you, hey, this is a pros, but there are also cons, and it's important to look at both sides of the coin or equations very carefully, right? When it's come to technology, my take here is that technologies will keep growing. Right? No one knows what will be the next emerging technology. Maybe one of you going to be the next Elon in terms of new technology. I'm not talking about other things. So when it's come to regulation, while I agree that my country also catching up quite slowly, and we are much faster in the past 2 years, but we still have more to learn. People like to say we have more to do. But before you do something, you've got to learn about it. You have to educate yourself. One of the weaknesses that we have as a government is also we don't educate ourselves fast enough. But we have really good excuse. We are not developer. We are not people in the field. We never have a history of being developer in the government. We are regulator, we policy maker. It's really important when it's become a technology industry that you also learn from the side of developer, from engineering side. And it's really difficult. I can say this because I'm also not an engineer. So when I work on technology policy, it's requiring me to really sit down with someone who really know what they're doing so that I can factor that into the equation and make sure my policy is up to date. And that is the longest process when we work on cloud first, for example, because cloud to someone like Mr. Pisan might be natural to you, right? And also Mr. Bruno too, but it's not to me. So how can we make sure that our government, our academia are learning a lot about technology before we can even have dialogue that Dr. Sai is talking about? You should not keep your door closed because everything moving fast. Maybe tomorrow Elon coming up with a new product already, but we haven't really studied about his EV car. And what is a Cybertruck that they are talking in the US? Exactly. And what if you want to ship that to one of our country? What are we going to do with it? So, all of these are really good sharing, and I hope you learn a lot from it. I want to open it to the audience. Any questions from anybody? Any dimension of it? There we go. So, the lady in the front from Laos. Can we have a microphone for her, please? And then we go around the room. Question can be for any panelist. Maybe we do it short on terms of timing. Are we okay? Yeah? Okay, awesome. And say your name, please, and your country.
Sabai.
Sabai.
My name is Sing Sing.
Sing Sing, okay.
My question to the panelists is, what are your opinions on education, enterprise engagement for skill building to empowerment abilities on digital transformation? Thank you.
Let's take in one more questions? Okay, all right. Okay, everybody touch your ears. And I'm gonna see who's gonna raise your hand first. 1, 2, 3. There we go, the man in blue.
That went fast, okay.
We have to be fair. Say your name and your country. Thank you.
Good afternoon. This is Pisen from Cambodia. Thank you so much for sharing. And with this question, I would like to ask all the 3 panelists, and including you as well, Ms. Pon, could you also share some to us as well? I've been noticing, So I'm a communication and public relation by training and by profession, and I use AI and digital technology throughout my daily life and also for my professional life. And on a side note, I'm also an advocate for social inclusion and diversity. So with this question, I would like to reiterate on the inclusion. So I've been noting down what you've been saying about smart city, about cost reduction, about improving personal life and all of these things. And then there's also like a dialogue, a conversation about the national guideline, regulations, and policies. With that in mind, I would like to probably propose to all of you, probably when you are about to propose all of that, maybe you would also to consider on a grassroots level how we can have with all of these things. With the digital and technology, we tend to think a lot about the Gen Z, the young generations, but how about the elderlies? With this is my first-hand experience. 2 years ago, I had a training to the local farmers in Cambodia and in Vietnam. And in that Vietnam, it was quite a ride because like 20 hours ride from Ho Chi Minh by bus to train them. And what did I train? I trained them to use Facebook, to open Facebook account, to share what they have been doing because they have been growing organic farmings in their neighbors, in their yards, but they don't have a channel to project it out, to help their market. So whatever they sell, the trade or the wage, they depend heavily on the what we call the middleman, and the middleman can lower the cost, right? So with this, I want to democratize the markets. That's just one of the basic example that I could raise. So with that, maybe you could also share with us if you have been thinking about the grassroots level as well. Thank you. Sorry if too long.
No, I think that's really important. So proposal, right, to the panelists as well, and also asking us to share what else we could do more, right? Or we are doing more with the grassroots, and I completely forgot the first one, but you remember. So please.
Yeah, actually the digital transformation being helped to promote the education very well. In Cambodia, we have, actually the COVID-19 has transformed Cambodian education. Right now, during the COVID pandemic, Cambodian class have opened online by Zoom, and Zoom become billionaire. Yeah. Actually, before we have Skype for conference as well, but Zoom coming to have take over the market a lot, become trillion, I think. Trillion. Yeah. So everyone can study from home, and even right now, the teacher give the assignment to the student, even the little child. They take video and they do the exercise and record and they read and send to the teacher and teacher evaluation. So it is the digital transformation that allows people study anywhere. Even my business, one of business, it is starting from a little bit before COVID pandemic. I record a lot of video training. I sell a lot. I make a lot of money to sell the course. Yeah. So before they attend to the class, but after they look at the videos and they learn by themselves anywhere, and we can have the online classroom so to improve that. So digital transformation have education a lot. I think I answered to your question.
Yes, two very good questions. The first one is about how to educate people to be prepared for the digital era, if I'm not mistaken.
Education, enterprise, engagement.
Education and price. Okay. One thing about education, because we did a lot of advocacy in Vietnam to the Ministry of Education and Technology. Back then, it was before ChatGPT came on. It was already very hard to design a cursus. Can you say that in English, right? A cursus? A curriculum. Design a curriculum that would take someone 5 years to follow, say, but in 5 years the technology completely changed. So how do you actually prepare people? So in engineering school, we don't learn technology, we learn to learn technology.
Yeah, even better.
That's how we were prepared in France, at least, to be engineers. But now with AI, it's even worse. Because every 2 weeks, we have a new AI thingy coming. It's going to revolutionize. We had DeepSeek, a month ago, something like that. It completely revolutionized everything. How do you prepare oneself to, have a career in 2, 5, 10, 15 years ago? I don't know, but
it's harder to think about that when I was younger, when each of you were younger, and someone asked you what you want to learn, what you want to do PhD on one day if you do PhD, right? Like you can't prepare for that anymore.
Exactly. But see, I think my piece of an answer is learn to learn, because this is the only way you can cope with this rapid pace of things. And people who cannot learn and adapt, we need community to support and find a way. But if you can, learn to learn. And the second question about grassroots, yes, it's extremely important to keep the connections with what is actually happening in the field. And I believe a lot of companies have tried and failed. Startups, most of them fail. Amazon, you mentioned Jeff Bezos before, and he tried, but he was so connected to what is it to sell books, because this is how he started. He leveraged technology to incredible effect and used it to such a full potential that he built the multi-billion, hundreds of billion company it is today. Because he was in his mindset connected to the grassroots, which if we want to help farmers, and this is something I'm seeing every day in Vietnam, we need to understand how they think, how they work. We can bring a service that is useful for them and empower them to keep the ownership over what they do, by a position to being replaced by robots or being employed by some big corporation and having their life disrupted.
Yes, just want to add on the education. I think learning is good, but practicing at the same time is also good. What I mean is that at the moment at the Chamber of Laos, Chamber of Industry, we have developed a course that's called DCT, is Dual Cooperative Training. So you have 50% in the classroom and the 50% go on the market with the company, whatever you do. So that's why after you graduate from that, you already can go directly to the market. So I think it's a hands-on one. So many professionals do like this course at the moment, and this is quite really helpful. However, learning by yourself from the computer, of course this is for yourself only, but if you are working in the industry, it's not possible. It's only for you, for yourself. But if you want to work for the industry, you need to work outside of the classroom. And all of our colleagues here already mentioned, you can access the curriculum online, whatever you want and so on. But when you need to be certified, which is really important, you need to pass all these classes. So about grassroots, you already said it, I think nothing to add more. It's just to involve them and to give them the necessary support so that everyone is inclusive and is involved in the classroom. As I said, very important because classroom is where the things happening. Without the classroom, we are not here. We will not survive without it. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't know what to add. It's hard for the last person to try and answer. But I do have an answer for, I think you're very good with the answer with all of us here, which I agree. But I think from our representative from Cambodia, for Thailand to be digitally inclusive, we have this digital inclusion program for the elderly. We create an app, which is a built-in app with the current government application. Otherwise, it's just too many apps, right, to download. And we ask each of digital center in each province to work with a digital volunteer, and this the idea of having volunteer is because we have studied and found out that the elderlies, they have to learn from someone, exactly like your example. You have to find someone to coach them. So you need that community center to exist, which we have in Thailand, and the villagers would come and take class, right? And we have this digital volunteer. We're still thinking of how to call these people, in a way that is cooler than digital volunteer. So if anyone have idea, please share with me. And so that these people can register themselves on these applications. Over time, we wouldn't need any coaches anymore. They would know where to go, what to click, and they can learn this e-learning, the online learning program through this application. But I think if the question is like, how can we think about things like this across our countries, is, Amazon has this one leadership principle, it's called customer obsession, right? So if we think of customer in this context as elders, you really need to understand their lifestyle. You need to understand what they preferred. Some of the elderly in some of our countries may prefer something differently because they have different lifestyle. But one thing that they have in common, they have a lot of time. So these are the group that I think it is not risk, is in fact there are opportunities. I shared this on the other forum. Those in Manila probably heard me say this before, but the elders, they are the great people who watch what's going to happen in the communities because they have a lot of time. They can say, oh, these neighbors are doing weird stuff, that road over there needs to be fixed. They're just, great observer. So with that type of character, they are great reporters, right? So if they can do that task in the society, they, with the system that my colleague has built, right? And you say that, it's go directly to the policy maker and they would be aware of what's happening in the community. You can do the same thing, right? So the elders, they often feel left out of the society because they don't have anything to do anymore. Hopefully they're rich enough to be able to sustain themselves, but these keep them active and they feel valued that they are a part of the society. So someone who are like us, who are policymakers, indeed have to work with the young people who are aware of this, group of people who need to be plugged back in, and also talk with the elders of what would they like to do, how do they want to be a part of it. I totally support you, so keep doing great job over there in Cambodia, and this is why we have this forum to exchange thoughts and ideas, exactly what we are doing. So keep it up. I'm told that we have a little bit more time. Maybe one more question, right? And then we wrap up. So, no, my eyes were not actually focusing, so I'm not being fair. Let's touch our ear one more time. And please help me look. Okay, 1, 2, 3. The gentleman in the middle with the microphone. Okay. Please say your name and the country where you're from.
So, hello everyone, my name is Andrea, I'm from Italy, and I have a question for everyone who wants to answer, because we were talking about, let's say, data center, AI innovation, and a lot of good things, but I think that all of these things work and are possible if there is a certain degree of interoperability, because even every cloud system, every data sharing needs to be to have a certain degree of interoperability, and it's something that we are always given for granted, that internet works in this way, so every digital innovation can work potentially everywhere in the world. But I think we are facing a lot of change in the world. We look at the big tech close to the, very close to the new American administration. We are looking at the heavy regulation in Europe. And I think that there is a very big risk of internet fragmentation. And I think it's something that we should address. And I'm not talking about only political fragmentation, because in Asia, for instance, there has always been, in many countries, there was always a bit of fragmentation, but it was easy to bypass with a VPN, for instance. But now things are changing. The political pressure is getting stronger, and there is also very strong pressure to fragment internet also at the technical level. If we look what was happening like a few years ago at the ITU with the discussion about the new IP, the role of ICANN. So my question for you is, do you think that internet fragmentation is a risk? And if it is, how, as innovators, can we address this, can reduce this risk?
You go, Bruno. Yes, please.
So thank you. It's a very, very good question. Actually, I'm going to look closer at the technical fragmentation that you mentioned, because I don't think I'm sufficiently aware of that. This being said, we already have China, for example, that is very isolated in terms of internet. Of course, you can bypass it with a VPN, but it's more and more complicated, and the will is there to have an internet space that is enclosed in China. Russia has the same concept. And then to some extent, Europe, with the GDPR protection, for example, is supposedly excluding all the non-compliant countries, even though it's not enforced as it could be, or I'm not saying as it should be, because that's not necessarily my opinion. But are we going there? I won't say probably, given the geopolitical situation. So we probably are going towards such a situation. What can we do as innovators? I think the internet is still a sort of a libertarian place at its core. This is how it was created. The protocols that we're using are, at the moment, still interoperable to a big degree. And so let's keep this alive. Let's keep open source alive. Let's keep sharing knowledge alive, and let's keep this dream alive. Otherwise, it's going to be shattered by the tensions around the world, and that would be a shame.
I can try. I'm not a technical guy, but more visionary, politically speaking. Yes, of course. It's same as in the trading. So the fragmentation is dividing the camps, north, south, east, west. But again, internet, I think, is supposed to be for everybody. And I hope not to be, how can I say, separate. Even though it's separate for some reason, like in China, we did it, or Russia. But again, it should be connected, whatever. I think it is for the human being, the good things of the human. If we do it, I think we will have another war, internet war.
I share the same view as Mr. Bruno, I think. But there's going to be quite a battlefield in Asia, especially also in Southeast Asia, as if you monitor, it's already a thing. And it's go back to my earlier point when I was talking about, you know, the fact that policymakers have a lot to learn and to educate, and that's just not looking down on policymaker. I myself a policymaker. It's just that we need to understand the science side we understand the political side very well, because that's what we do. But this is why we need conversation like this, is to understand from both sides of the equations and why and how. I think most of the question mark that we have in the mind is how. Sometimes it's not that we disagree. The disagreement sometimes come because we scare of risk to the citizen. You know, the stakeholder, when business look at these people as user or customer, to us, these are citizens. And our job is to protect the citizens, right? You know, in Europe and in Asia now they're talking about sovereignty, right? But when you study history, when you understand the history of politics of countries like ours, it's complicated, just like how it's complicated for any other countries around the world as well. But that's what formed the belief. So why is a battlefield of science and technology? It's in fact a battlefield of belief. And that's why advocacy is important. And advocacy only comes when you have dialogue. So thank you for the question. I think that's getting us into, you know, some of the technicality that we also need here. And with that, I want our panelists to have the final words for our young professionals who are going to spend 2 days here deep diving in different topics that each of you also will present. I myself as well on the soft skill, you know, on the second days, so we can deep dive into more of the talent question that we didn't have time to answer right now. So anyone want to, maybe Mr. Bruno? So what should our young professionals should be aware of? What would be your advice? What would be, you know, the things that our young professionals should be aware of? That they should think about. What would be your one word of advice?
Yeah, digital transformation, digital technology will help you to accelerate the speed of learning, the speed of running business, but you also have the risk as well. But the risk, it is manageable. So tomorrow I will share the 3 key pillars. One is about innovation, how to make your business grow. And second, how to make your business visibility in the world. And third, I will share how to protect yourself and your business. So I hope you will enjoy tomorrow's session with me. Thank you.
Yes, for me, just keep going, keep learning, keep contributing, make the society better, be happy with the new technology, endorse it, and manage it. Thank you.
Thank you. So very good session, I believe. Actually, I've seen a lot of questions haven't been answered, but at least my keynote, we're going to delve deeper into all the topics we raised today. So yes, I think you being here and attending this event is a very good sign of your engagement in our future, but your future as well. So congratulations to you.
Thank you, and you guys, for me, keep they cut. Okay, all right, so I wanted to say just keep innovating, right? You don't have to be engineers to innovate, right? You can also innovate the way to make sure you get it going on advocacy, on making sure that we meet somewhere we need to meet. So with that, thank you so much. Please give it a big round of applause to our panelists. And I hope you learned a few things before we move on to the workshop, I believe.
Thank you very much. A huge round of applause for our panel.